I got a confession to make. I really like tattoos. I like how they look. I like how they make me feel. But mostly, I really enjoy doing tattoos. When I'm tattooing, everything else goes away. Other than sitting in complete stillness, tattooing remains the best meditation practice that I've ever found. But not all tattoos are good. Some tattoos are a crime scene. I recognized this tragic reality while working with a client on her tattoo. She was 27 years old and living in the Salvation Army shelter, and for the past 13 years, she'd been struggling with poverty, addiction, chaos, and violence. So what triggered the mess she found herself living in, and what does any of it have to do with tattoos? It turns out that when she was only 14 years old, she had been violated in the worst way possible. And when these monsters were done abusing her and taking away her dignity, they marked their cruelty by tattooing their initials into her hip. She then spent the next 13 years haunted by the experience, pained by the innocence taken, and branded by evil people. I had the absolute honor of covering that tattoo for free with a heart and angel wings. Now, in my career, I've created well over 10,000 tattoos. But that strong heart with those protective wings washing over the evil done to her remains the best and most powerful tattoo that I've ever done. Like I said, some tattoos are a crime scene, but even those crime scenes can be redeemed, and with your help, prevented. I'm here to change the world and eliminate a mentality that enables, empowers, and even encourages monsters like that to do bad things to kids. I need your help, and I need you to listen, even though this is hard to hear. And believe me, it's hard to talk about. I grew up in Southern California. I experienced poverty, emotional, physical abuse, abandonment, and my innocence got taken away from me in my biological home. I got removed by protective services at 12 years old. And when I entered foster care, it wasn't a salvation from my situation. It was just more of the same dingy rooms, shabby homes, and loveless people I've been raised by previously. I was 12, well beyond adoptable age, and whether it was true or not, in my mind, no one loved me and no one cared about me in the foster homes and group homes. My situation left me vulnerable to someone bad. And that person started taking me to the movies, buying me clothes, good food, sodas, and snacks, and eventually that person became my foster parent and legal guardian. Now, what that person did wasn't about love, wasn't about intimacy, it was about power, control, and stealing. The predator gave me cigarettes every hour on the hour. So not only was I dependent on my legal guardian for all my basic needs, but I was physically addicted to that person because they had a substance that at 12 years old I could only find there. I didn't notice or understand these things because I was just a kid, and I was grateful for the attention and love, even if the love wasn't real. When I entered high school at 14, the predator began to become envious of me, especially one sunny day when I bought my own pack of cigarettes. Pure rage, envious of my time, my friends, any girls I was speaking to, and so controlling that by the time I was 16, there was consistent denial of food, shelter, and other basic needs as a means of controlling. Ultimately, that person tried to take away my life. Now, obviously, I survived and I was able to get away because I'm here talking to you. But at 16, I weighed 105 pounds. I was homeless, I was hopeless, and I was addicted. And my life was complete chaos and violence, even though I had escaped the foster care system. I was very lucky to have friends from school who let me stay with them most of the time, so I spent very few nights outside shivering and afraid, but those nights did suck. Eventually, my buddy from work started taking me jogging, and my friends and their parents started making sure that I had food and shelter. So by the time I was 18 years old, I was up to 140 pounds. At which time, I was very fortunate to be able to join the United States Navy, even though I didn't have a high school diploma. By the time I finished with field medical service school, I weighed 190 pounds. I was designated as a hospital corpsman, which is a Navy medic. And I just wanted to forget about all those bad things that happened. I wanted to move forward with my life and build something positive. But the body remembers. So even though I was in the military and in a good place, the trauma followed me. I was still unknowingly creating poverty, addiction, chaos, and violence. In 2000, I got sober. The antidote to addiction is connection, and I found a group of sober people my age. I wasn't alone anymore. The sober community that I found continues to be my chosen family today. 4 years later, in 2004, I deployed to the Middle East as a line corpsman with Lima Company 324, an outstanding group of infantry Marines. I was their combat medic, but that's another talk for another time. When I came home from the war, my daughter was born, and I was tattooing full-time. Over the next decade, I participated in various types of therapy and personal development. I was able to face, deal with, and lean into all those wounds from my past. I never got over it, and I never had to. I learned how to live with it, and I built my mind, body, and spirit so that I'm bigger, I am more, and I am free. And I found peace. Eventually, I became completely free of poverty, addiction, chaos, and violence. That lost little boy with no home, no love, and no hope, found all three in a treehouse that I built in my own heart. So I started sharing my story with the world, because not everyone has the good fortune after bad things like that to receive such care, knowledge, and empowerment. I marked my steps so that other people who have had a similar experience could have some hope and decide, hey, if that guy did it, maybe I can do it too. But I stayed quiet about part of my story for a little bit longer. It took some extra time to gain back my power about this aspect. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm surprised, but I'm still disappointed and discouraged by the reaction that many people have to the part of my story that involves the person who betrayed me when I was 12 years old, took what was left of my childhood, and tried to take away my life when they find out that she was a woman. If the joke was ever funny, it stopped being funny a long time ago. This is the culture that excuses her. Now, all of this is under videos and posts on my social media and communicated directly to me. Though you will find similar opinions and sentiment and statements under any media that allows comments when the subject is a woman predator. Now, I know this is only the internet, and if it were only the internet and social media and some trolls, I wouldn't have any reason to give this talk and present my ask to you. But the culture that excuses her is visible and prevalent in popular culture, in our news, in our movies, our music, in general conversation, overtly and covertly, implicitly and explicitly. Help me expose the culture that excuses her, because like mold, it cannot survive in the sunlight. Now, admittedly, the mechanism of this kind of abuse between genders is different. Boys and girls are different, men and women are different. But the after effects are the same: poverty, addiction, chaos, and violence. I believe that at this time we can all agree that two things can be different and still be completely unacceptable. Our children are off limits, though a significant portion of our population doesn't believe that way when the predator is a woman. Our culture excuses her and silences survivors, reducing their chance for a positive outcome. Here's where I need your help. If you see something, say something. Let them know that if they're okay with one adult doing that to one kid, that means that they're okay with adults doing that to kids. If a movie glorifies the exploitation of children by anyone, don't watch it. If a song's lyrics are nostalgic about grown adults doing that with kids, don't listen to it. It's not what they're selling. It's what we're still buying. If somebody propagates the culture that excuses her by saying things like, was she hot? Where were all these women when I was a kid? What would make a beautiful woman do that? Oh, I can't believe we've gotten so soft today. What a lucky kid. Here's how you can respond to that, other than maybe your natural response, which you may or may not want to have. Everyone knows someone who, as an adult, has been in a bad, controlling relationship. Everyone knows someone who has stayed in that manipulative, controlling relationship longer than they needed to, even though they were a grown-up. Tell this person to imagine being in that awful, narcissistic, just ugly relationship, feeling trapped there, and being 12 years old. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, a kid. Not only are you stuck in a bad relationship, but you depend on that person for food, shelter, a ride to school, all your basic needs. Men who do that to children are not good people. Women who do that to children are not good people. If there's further misunderstanding, you could explain to this person who wonders where all these women were when that person was a kid, you could explain to them that exploitation of children is not about love. It's not about intimacy. It's not about something hot or fun or cool. It's about power. It's about control. It's about stealing. And it's about evil. No matter what anyone looked like, no matter what anyone's gender was, no matter who asked who to do what, no matter if it's someone that people thought was a bad kid. When we expose and eliminate the culture that excuses her, we change the world because we alleviate shame and we give survivors permission to heal. Here's another way you can help. You could be like Mrs. Lopez. When I was 17 and homeless, I was afraid to go to the doctor. And I didn't tell my friends what happened. They just knew something bad happened and I needed a place to sleep. But I was afraid to go to the doctor because I was afraid they would call my foster mom and I was afraid she would come and hurt me. But I got an ear infection, and when you get an ear infection and don't get antibiotics, don't go to the doctor, you can get sick. And I got real sick from an ear infection. And my friends brought me to the hospital. I ended up in the ER with some curtains around me on a cot and an IV in my arm. And my friends were there, and I fell asleep. But when I woke up, my foster mom was there. And I mumbled to my friends that I thought she was going to do something bad to me. and my friends chose courage. When my foster mom stepped away, they snuck me out of the back of the hospital and brought me to my best friend's house. I was on the couch with a cool rag on my forehead, and my best friend's mom, Mrs. Lopez, was giving me some kind of herbal tea thing that didn't taste good, telling me to drink it. And my foster mom showed up, screeching into the driveway, honking her horn, screaming, "Where is he?" Coming, pounding on the door. "I know he's here, you give him to me." Now, I had always known Mrs. Lopez, my best friend's mom, to be a very quiet, mild-mannered Christian woman. I had never even heard her raise her voice. But when that monster wouldn't leave, I'm not going to repeat exactly what she said, but I'll tell you that the whole neighborhood heard it. "So help me God, you effing B. If you don't get the F off my porch, I will knock you the F out. He is not here." And then Mrs. Lopez pushed my foster mom off the porch, and I got to live. I think that we could all be a little bit more like Mrs. Lopez. The culture that excuses her is designed to shame and silence survivors. Silence is deadly for survivors of that kind of evil. It's common knowledge that the first step to taking back our power after something like that was stolen from us is disclosure, telling someone about it. If you've had an experience like that, I want to first tell you that you're not alone. I believe you. It did happen, and it really was that bad. And no matter what, the human spirit is indestructible, and there is joy ahead for you if you will step into the work and lean in. I need you to help me. I need you to say something if you see it. I need you to help me expose, eliminate, and obliterate the culture that excuses her from the face of the earth. Mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, sons and daughters, and chosen family, this is our time. Not just to cover up evil tattoos once meant to brand ownership in a human being, but to create a strong space in our culture where child exploitation never happens in the first place. The greatest danger to any civilization is failure to protect its children. And we're doing better, but we're still failing. We are the grown children of the secret. We carry the torch for our fallen brothers and sisters. We don't forgive and we don't forget. We won't rest until we live in a society completely free of child exploitation. So be it. Until all are free, welcome to the team.